Hello, Drew. Hey, Bex. Come on in. Hi, Sophia.
Hello.
Hello.
How are
I'm
you?
I'm good. I'm happy you're here.
I know, me too.
So, first of all, let's just get one thing out the way. Where was you until 4 o'clock this morning, you dirty stop out?
I was supporting my client. And
Oh,
she
how
had,
lovely.
I know, she had an amazing birth. It's obviously not my story to tell, but just if
Yeah.
they do watch this back, so proud of you.
Oh, I bet. It's just lovely, isn't it, to leave a
Yeah,
bag on a high.
best feeling in the world. I've been on a high all day,
Yeah, yeah.
the
Even though
whole
it's tiring, the buzz is just insane, isn't
yeah.
it?
The buzz is like second to none. And then I got home and my little boy woke up at 6. So
Oh.
I'm just running on fumes.
You're like, the last thing I need today is a live at 7 o'clock nap.
And then I seen you put a makeup on your story, and I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna join in.
Yeah, because I'm also really tired because I've just done two. I've done a 10 and a half hour day and then a 13-hour day
Oh
looking
wow,
after someone's child. And it's 3-year-olds are just another level, aren't they? Oh my
they
God.
really are. Yes, they're
Well,
crazy.
anyway, I'm so glad you're here. I'm going to introduce myself because this might be shared somewhere where people don't know who I am.
Okay.
So I'm Natalie Abouche. I am NatNat Your Doula, an in-person and virtual pregnancy, birth and postnatal doula and a nanny. Um, I support women and their families the whole way through their pregnancy, through their labour and birth sometimes, if I'm there in person, if not virtually. And then I help them out in the postnatal period if that's what they need. Over to you, Bex. Let us know who you are and not just who you are, but what it is you do to serve the families in your community.
Okay, so my name's Bex, also known as Rebecca, but please everyone call me Bex. I am Birth Doula Bex. I'm a hypnobirth practitioner, antenatal educator, and a birth and postnatal doula. We only moved to the UK actually 2 months ago. We moved
Mm,
from Spain, so it's like a really big transitional time for me, my husband, and our children at the moment.
I
And
bet.
we're in Surrey at the moment as well, which is a big change
Okay.
because, as you can tell, I'm from Liverpool.
Thinking, yeah,
Yeah,
that's a very southern accent.
not at all.
This
No.
is a southern accent.
Yeah. Every time I meet people, they're like, "You're not from round here, are you?" I'm like, "No, no."
Yeah, stand out.
Yeah, stick out
Okay.
a little bit.
So, by the sounds of it, you're working with families in of an array of ways, really,
Yeah.
supporting them at different stages of their journey. So, I guess my one and only question for you today is, Bex, how have you gotten to where you are now? What is your story?
Okay, so I have always been a birth nerd. Loved it. Even from a really young age, like a teenager, I was always watching birth stories, listening to birth podcasts, like found it so fascinating. And this was way, way, way before I met my husband and I knew I was going to have children.
Mm.
Just loved birth. Do you remember there was a podcast? I think it was Clemmy Hopper Birth Stories, and she was a midwife. This was years ago, and she had people on telling their birth stories. I was obsessed with it. I used to
Right,
listen
okay.
to it like religiously, and they weren't like fluffy, nice birth stories. They were often, the twists and turns of birth and how it escalated to where it was. And I was always so fascinated by it and like wondered, how does the body actually produce all of these hormones and how do they work together to get the woman to where she needs to be for the baby to be born. So
Mm.
fascinating. And then when I got pregnant with my daughter, I knew straight away. First thing I thought was, I want to have a water birth. I don't want anyone to touch me, and I'm going to do it in the hospital.
Mm.
Because we were living in Ibiza at the time, and a home birth in Ibiza was
Yeah.
about €5,000. And that just wasn't money that
Oh,
we had.
wow.
You can't get them on the health service
So
there.
you have to do it private.
You have to do it private, and you have to have, I think it's like a minimum of two midwives and
Mm.
another registered person present, and to pay
Okay.
for them is
Wow.
just extortionate. And if you don't have those people present and you do a free birth, you can face some kind of prosecution if something goes wrong.
Wow. Did not know that. Okay.
Yeah. So I was told that when I was pregnant because I was kind of just exploring it a little bit, and my midwife at the local health centre was like,
Okay.
no, no, no.
Mm.
So I remember I said to the midwife, I really want to have a water birth, and she was like, okay, it's your first baby. You're not going to be able to do that. And she also said in the hospital in Ibiza, they won't let you birth in the pool.
Oh, so you can labour in there, but they get you out at a certain point.
Yeah, you can labour in there and then they get you out at the end to give birth on the bed,
That's the
preferably
bit
on
you
your back.
really. But
Yeah.
people who choose to do this in water, that's the bit that they really want to have
That's
in the
what you really
water.
want, right? You
Mm.
want the nice soothing water
Yeah, yeah,
around your fanny at that point. You
yeah.
don't want to then go,
Literally.
okay, let's just dry birth it, let's get out the pool.
Yeah.
No.
Wow.
So I spent that whole pregnancy just focusing on that exact birth that I wanted to have. And I
Mm.
was like, I am going to do this. And there's no way that I'm not going to do this.
Love it.
Um, so there's just loads of like preparation, hypnobirthing. It was
Mhm.
quite nice in a way that we weren't in the UK
Okay.
because I didn't feel the pull to go to like an NCT or, any of these sorts of kind of official
Mm.
antenatal things. I just did all of my own research
Mm.
and it was all independent. I did do a course with the Positive Birth Company. I did their hypnobirth course, which I loved.
Mm.
That was like my first little taste of what hypnobirthing was like, and I loved that course. I made my husband do it with me. He was like,
Good. I know.
yeah,
I hear that a lot, like, oh, my husband don't want to do it. I'm like, well, get him to bloody do it because it makes
yeah,
a lot of sense. He needs to understand what's going on.
I
It's
know,
not just breathing.
exactly. And we'd also decided that it was only going to be me and him at the birth, and I was like, you kind of need to know what's happening so that you're not freaked out in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
So he did the course with me in the end. He's, good husband. But yeah, so we learned the hypnobirthing techniques. Then there was like a little bit of, that weirdness in birth where I went to the midwife. She did the fundal measure with the tape measure and she was like, baby's small, you've got to go for a scan. Went for a scan, they told me baby's too big. I was like,
Really? I
which
don't
one of
hear
the
these stories
times?
often.
I
You must
know.
be lying.
I was like, okay, I think I was about 34 weeks at the time, and they said at the scan that she was already 3.5 kilos.
Okay.
So they were like, she's going to be like 4.5 kilos
So
born.
what? That's what my baby was born at.
Yeah, and I was like, okay. And they were like, are you not scared? I was like, no. They were like, do you want an induction? I was like, not really, no. I was like, the
It would
midwife
make
told
you
me
scared.
last week. She was like, the midwife said last week that she was too small with her tape measure. Now you're telling me she's too big. Like,
Mm.
I'm sure she's just the perfect size.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was just a whole rigmarole. But if I cut to the birth story, um, I went into labour like middle of the night, classic.
Mhm.
And I remember I'd read all of these things that was like just bullshit yourself, like completely bullshit yourself that you're not in labour. So I took two paracetamol, lay on my side with my pregnancy pillow, and I was just going, I'm not in labour. I'm not in labour. And I eventually fell asleep for 5 hours.
Oh wow, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. And
Perfect.
then I woke up with like a big kind of surge, and I was like,
Mm.
definitely in labour.
Yeah. Can't bullshit myself anymore.
Can't bullshit myself anymore. But I was so thankful that I'd actually slept like through the night.
Yeah.
So then that day they told me as well I had group B strep, so they said come to the hospital early for the antibiotic.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I was really nervous about that. When it's like first baby and you're like, oh, they're gonna get sepsis and die, and I was like really freaked out. So we went to the hospital. Sarah just stopped, obviously,
As
like
they
straight
do.
away,
Yeah.
as they do. And they were like, go home. So I was like, okay. So as soon as we got in the car, they started back up again. And all the way home, it was quite a big drive as well, like a half an hour drive. So all the way
Oh
home, I'm
goodness.
like breathing, breathing, breathing. And then when we got back into the apartment, I was like, oh, I was like, this doesn't feel like I should have been, you know,
Mm.
sent back home. But I stayed. I didn't want to do that journey again. I was like, no way I want to do that journey if they're just going to send me home. So I got in the bath at home, threw up all over myself in the bath. My husband was like, have you just been sick on yourself? I was like, yeah.
Yeah, all dignity goes out the window.
Yeah.
May shit
It was
myself too.
yeah, yeah. That was next. Next, I was on the toilet, and he was
At
putting the
least it wasn't in the bath.
I managed to get out the bath. He was putting the TENS machine on my back for me, and I was just pooing, and I was like, I'm so
Oh
sorry.
God.
And actually, I realised looking back that was when I'd hit transition
Mm,
without knowing how far along I'd actually progressed.
yeah.
So I was hypnobirthing the shit out of everything at this point,
Literally.
literally just trying to stay calm. I remember when we got back in the car, I made him bring a bowl because I thought I was going to have to poo in the car.
Oh no.
It wasn't
Oh
even a
my
safe.
God.
Like, I'm going to have to poo in the car. You need to bring a bowl. He brought the
Oh
salad
my
bowl.
God.
Like,
Remind me never to have salad at your house.
never have salad in my house. It's now like the kids' sick bowls, multi-purpose. It doesn't get salad in anymore, I should just clarify.
Oh goodness.
So this is like this moment of birth I will never ever ever forget because it was just the funniest thing. We got in the car and we lived like in Santa Eulalia in Ibiza on the Paseo, so we were right by the beach. So our
Mm.
parking was under our apartment. And so we came up and someone was parked across the exit.
Oh,
So we were stuck on the ramp and my husband was beeping. I was on all fours on the back seat
oh
because I was
God.
like, I can't sit down. It's so uncomfortable. Had really strong back labour. So there was no way I was sitting on my bum. So I was
Yeah.
kind of clipped in but leaning over the back seat.
Oh, the stress. Oh my goodness.
I know, I was just like, oh, and but the noises were starting to come then and I was thinking, oh my God, I've just shit everywhere. Like,
Yeah.
these noises are coming out of me involuntarily and we're stuck halfway out of the garage and no taxi is going to take me in July in Ibiza in this state. And the traffic as well because it was summer and I was just like, oh, this is hell.
Oh God.
So he was beep, 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 beep. Some guy walked past who was on holiday, looked like this through the front window. He was from Yorkshire, I'll never forget his voice. He went, his wife's in labour! And then he ran to the car, jimmied the window opened the door, took the handbrake off, and pushed the car out the way.
Oh, what an absolute legend.
I know.
Love that.
I wish I knew who he was because he literally saved my
Does
life
anybody
that
here
day.
know this man?
I know, he literally, they must still talk. He was with his wife, and I always think they must still talk about this.
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
must be like, do you remember when we saved that woman who was in labour?
Thank
I
God
was
they were
like,
there.
thanks, out the window as we drove past. It was all discombobulated on the back seat. But we arrived back at the hospital. It was COVID as well. There were so many
Oh my
things to
God.
contend with that year. We
Mm.
arrived back at the hospital. They gave me a nose swab during a contraction, and I remember I buckled forward as he did it, and it felt like it was in my eye, and I
Oh,
was like,
bloody hell.
"Oh, my eye!" I was like, "I'm not having a good time here, guys. I need to get to this pool
Honestly, this
now."
birth is putting me on edge, mate.
It was just so many little things, but I kept laughing. I couldn't stop laughing through the whole thing. Like, I found everything hilarious. My husband was like, "You are not normal. Like, this is not normal behaviour." I just couldn't stop laughing. And then we got into the room finally. Had a mask on, but I was completely naked.
God.
And then the had a male midwife, and he was amazing. If anyone has given birth in Ibiza, they know this midwife because not only is he like so like heart centered, so kind to the women, he's like really empathetic. He's also looks like a supermodel.
Oh no, I couldn't. I'm like, sorry, you're gonna have to leave. I can't. I might ruin you, and I can't
I
have
was
that.
just he came in the room and I was like, oh, there I am, just completely naked, took everything off, and I was just
Oh,
like, well, this is embarrassing.
that's awful. I can't think of anything worse than a gorgeous male midwife.
Absolutely stunning.
Oh God.
So I said to he was like, "Can I check and see like how dilated you are?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." So he checked and he was like, "Well, do you think?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" He was like, "You're fully dilated." I was like, "Are you being
Amazing.
serious?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I just couldn't stop laughing. And I don't think at any point through that labour and process, I was like this. You know, when you like can't untense yourself.
Yeah.
And I think it's, you know, it's a lot of things. It's knowledge, it's knowing that you shouldn't do that, but it's also just being able to access that place in your brain that
Mm.
says you're safe.
But so were you able to do that because you'd done all that research? You started when you were a teenager, before you was way before you were pregnant. You'd done your hypnobirthing. You'd built up this knowledge in your mind and allowed yourself to relax through it.
That's exactly what I think it was.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So I made it into the pool.
Okay.
Um, and then uh, another really random thing about that hospital, they don't do gas and air. So it's not really a thing in Spain.
Is it not?
No. So I asked for it just because I wanted to, you know, just give it a go. Why not? I'm
Yeah.
here. Like, might as well. And they were looking at me like I was really weird. And they were just like, we don't know what you're asking for. So, and I was like,
Oh
maybe I'm
wow.
saying it wrong because I was like
Mm.
talking to them in Spanish. And so my husband asked them, and then they wheeled in like this tank. And I was like breathing it in. And my husband was like, is that any good? And I was like, I mean, I've had better balloons. And then we
Yeah.
looked and it was oxygen.
You
And
you was in Ibiza. You could have got someone to drop you some balloons, and couldn't you?
exactly.
Crack a canister. Come on.
I was like, guys, this is like drug capital of the world. Why have you not got any?
Yeah, because it's all being used in the clubs.
Yeah, exactly. They probably ran out. They're probably selling it out the back door.
Yeah.
So anyway, the
Wow.
oxygen obviously did nothing. I was highly
Yeah.
oxygenated at this point and just kind of threw it on the floor and was like, well, this is useless.
Well, that's
And
good.
then,
Some oxygen.
yeah. And then the midwife came back and he was just like, do you have the urge to push? And I was like, no.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, okay, well, let's wait. So off he went. He left me for an
Love this
hour.
guy.
I know, he's a legend. I think he now works in Parma. So anyone in Spain, head to
Mm.
Parma for your birth because that guy is.
Yeah.
He came back another hour later. He was like, any urge to push? I was like, no. He was like, okay, I'll come back. And
Wow.
they checked baby's heart rate probably like every half an hour, but in such a unobtrusive way. You know, they would just come in, check. I was fine.
With a Doppler.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
laughing and joking with my husband. They were just like, this woman's like, woo. Then when they came back again, it was about 2.5 hours. So I'd had this whole waiting period of not really feeling much at all. Like the surges that I was getting were very mild, and I was just able to hang out on the edge of the pool and just sway and just kind of enjoy being there.
Mm.
And then eventually, when I did want to push, they were like, "Are you going to get out the pool?" And I was like, "No." Like, why would I get out the pool? So they cut me a deal and they were like, you can give birth in this water if I can bring the student midwives in so that they can see this.
That's
Because
not fair.
I know, right? But then he told me that he could sign it off and then they would be qualified to facilitate pool births.
Fair enough. That's an okay deal then, isn't it?
Yeah, so I was like, fine, bring them in. Next minute,
And
there was just a whole group of people stood around
oh
watching.
no.
The lights were so low. There was like a mirror on like a stick. Everyone was kind of like taking it in turns to have a little look, see what was going on, and then 5 pushes, and she was born.
Amazing.
And
Absolutely amazing.
it was like it was weird, right? Because you think about a hypnobirth and birth, and you'd want like
Mm.
people in the room. You wouldn't want like a chaotic journey to the hospital. You wouldn't want to be like laughing hysterically through the whole thing. You would think that it would just be like calm, chill, grounded. And it wasn't really. It was quite like weird and chaotic, especially with like the nose swab and all of this stuff. It was like
Shitting
really,
yourself in the car.
yeah, get myself in the car.
The thing is, I think there's a misconception around hypnobirthing. I definitely had that when I first ever heard of it. I thought it was being hypnotized to
Yeah,
get through birth pain free. And I know other people think it's all hippy dippy and it's just breathing and trying to be pain free. And it's not. It's very much roar your baby out, scream if you want, laugh your way through. As long as you understand the process of labour and birth, that's kind of what I've learned the most through
yeah,
hypnobirthing since becoming a doula. And I think that that's key for anyone watching this that's pregnant and doesn't know about hypnobirthing. Speak to someone like you, get an understanding of how it helps you through, because
100%.
it's not just a laying in a pool with fairy lights looking beautiful for the black and white videos and you can't calmly push your baby out without any pain. That's not it.
Yeah,
It's not, is
exactly.
it?
No, it's not.
How
It's not.
wonderful that you did all that though.
I know,
Brilliant.
and I loved it so much. And I
Mm,
remember the next day, so I birthed the placenta and everything, it all just came naturally and it was just amazing.
love
Like the
it.
whole thing was just like so perfect. It couldn't have wished
Mm,
for a better first birth. And I remember when I went back to my local midwife, she was kind of a little bit smug. She was just like, "When did you take the epidural?" I was like, "I never." And I gave birth in the pool. She was like, "What?"
these Liverpool lasses come over here, changing
Yeah.
everything.
I was like, "Anna did it in the pool, so ha."
Brilliant. Brilliant. So how was so considering that you had such a, what you would consider a lovely birth, a lovely experience. Sounds like it was good fun as well.
Yeah.
Definitely during parts of it. How was your postpartum period then? Well, I say period,
Yeah.
weeks, months, whichever.
Yeah, it was, do you know what? I had such a lovely breastfeeding journey with my daughter. Found it really hard to get her to latch at first, and then I found a breastfeeding consultant on the island who came and she helped me, and then I went on to breastfeed her until my son was born 2.5 years later.
Wow.
So with that, it was great. Like my healing was great. I didn't have any stitches.
Mm,
She just she was only 6 pound 3. So she just emerged. I was on all fours. There was no tears, nothing. So I really did breeze through the birth and the breastfeeding journey. But I did still have postnatal depression.
okay.
And I think that kind of crept in because we were living away from any kind of, family, community. Like we had friends in Ibiza and we do still have really good friends in Ibiza, but at that time they were in a totally different stage of their lives. Like we were the first couple to start, having babies in our group.
They're
And
still going
so
down to Pasho and stuff like
they
that.
were
Yeah.
still partying. And then, in that way you kind of become a little bit of an afterthought because it's like I'm gonna go partying and then maybe I'll pop around and see Bex for a cuppa tomorrow, but actually I'm a bit rough and now I've got to go to work.
Yeah.
So I think that was where that kind of crept in a little bit. And I did struggle with that until I didn't realise how long for, but it didn't lift until I got pregnant with my son.
Okay.
And then I kind of felt that shift in hormones and I was like, oh,
Wow. So it took
this
getting
is how
pregnant
I'm
to.
meant to feel. Like
Yeah.
I remembered, like this is normal for me
Mm.
because I'd just been so like autopilot for the whole thing.
When you were going through that, did you know you were going through that, or did you only realise when you felt better?
I only realised afterwards what I'd actually been going through. And looking back on that period as well, I don't remember a lot. From like
Okay.
looking after my daughter, like the day to day things. Like if I've got pictures, so like I know what we did, but I don't
Mm.
actually remember being in that moment and feeling a lot about life.
Okay.
It's almost like just doing the thing.
Yeah.
And obviously
Just
you're
getting through.
exhausted, yeah. And you,
Mm.
especially when you're breastfeeding, because you're the milk, right? So you don't sleep, and
They're always on you all
yeah, they're
the time.
always there, yeah, constantly. So that
Yeah.
was really sad, um, like in hindsight. But I think at the time, because I didn't know, I just got through it and just carried on.
Knowing what you know now that you're a doula and you've done training and you've got lots of experience, if you, as a doula, were to meet yourself then, what would you advise, or what would you do potentially to help
Do
or
you know,
say?
like looking back now, I think if I had have been around someone who was trained to recognise the signs of like postnatal depression or differentiated from baby blues and tiredness, I
Mm.
think they would have picked up on it because I was just a bit ghost like.
Yeah.
You could tell that I was just going through the motions and I wasn't really involved
Yeah.
properly. So if someone was going through that, I would say it's so important if you're not going to have like a professional that's around you quite a lot, like a doula, make your partner aware
Yeah.
of what these signs are because it can change like the whole trajectory of your motherhood really. Like
Yeah.
I love
Absolutely.
having children and love being a mum and I loved having my daughter, but It's just weird that I don't really recall much of it.
Yeah, it's
Almost
tricky,
like
isn't it? I
sad.
know when I speak, you're probably the same when you speak to clients that have had babies weeks ago or months ago, and they might make a point of saying, I'm not doing well, I'm struggling. And it's really difficult to know, isn't it? Do they need additional support, like
Yeah.
outside services, or are they just having those baby blues? Are they just exhausted? There's no way of knowing. So I
No.
think I think it's really important during postpartum that people do reach out and just ask. I'm always so proud of my clients when they do ask for help,
Yeah.
or they message me and say, "No, I'm really having a shit time. Like, I
No.
can't do this. Can you recommend anyone to help?" So
It's
proud of them for doing
it's
that.
so hard as well though because it's such a big transition. Like you've gone from being your own human who probably has a full-time job, who's, out all the time with friends, socializing. I mean, for me, it was even nicer. I was going to the beach every day, all
Yeah.
these gorgeous things, and then suddenly you're
Mm,
not doing any of that stuff. Or if
yeah.
you are, you're doing it in like snippets and you don't have the same group that you had before. And
Very isolating.
it's isolating, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
So
then,
you started to feel better when you fell pregnant with your second.
yeah, which was a big surprise for us. We were actively trying not to have another baby.
Oh, whoops.
Yeah. And because I was still breastfeeding as well, like my periods were so irregular
Mm,
that I just didn't know. And I'd had a period the month before, what I thought was a period.
yeah.
And then one morning I woke up, and as I lifted my head up off the pillow, I was like, oh, ugh, I feel so ill. And I went, I know
Oh,
this feeling.
uh-oh.
I know this exact feeling. And I spent that whole day being like, no, surely not.
Mm,
No, surely not. And then I just kept getting wave after wave after wave. And I was like, I am.
here we go again.
I knew it. I just knew it straight away. And I
Did
did a
you?
test and I was like, yep, I am.
Yeah. You knew. This is what I always think. Like, we're so used to going outside of ourselves to find out if we're pregnant. We know
We know,
when
yeah.
we're pregnant. Why are we so desperate to get that stick? Sometimes I remember doing like 15, 16 tests when I had Sophia. Like, really? Are they all positive? I don't know, I don't trust it.
Yeah, I don't trust it. I'm going to do another one.
Even though I can't stop vomiting, I can't eat anything, I can't even swallow my own saliva. But I need this test. I need
Yeah,
a lot
you
of
must,
tests.
must do this test. It was like, I mean, I'm so, so thankful. Like, he's the best child in the world. But at the time, we were visiting England. We were in my mother-in-law's, and so I'd kind of slipped out, said that I was going for a walk, and I went to the pharmacy and got 2 pregnancy tests and did them in a hair bathroom, and then cried on the phone to my best friend in the bathroom, and silently because I couldn't make too much noise in case anyone heard me. And she was like, "Pull yourself together, get up off the floor." I was like, "God."
Go downstairs and put your face on. You've got to look like
Yeah.
this is okay.
And then, as I say, the silver lining was no more postnatal depression.
Brilliant. How
Yeah.
fantastic is that? So with your second, was it a boy you had next? Yeah,
Boy
you said
second,
boy,
yeah.
yeah.
I had girl
Sorry.
first, boy second.
Lovely. So with your second then, you find out you're pregnant, that's confirmed. Um, what did you do anything different? And if you did, what was that during your pregnancy?
I actually did. So we knew we were still living in Ibiza at the time, but we knew that we were moving to Marbella in the September. So I found out in May that I was pregnant, and I really didn't enjoy the prenatal care that I'd received with my daughter because it was like every week or every 2 weeks I had to go to the midwife. She would weigh me. She
Mhm.
would, tell me you're only allowed to put 10 kilos on through the whole pregnancy. And I put 23 kilos on with my daughter, and she would just shout at me every time I went there. And I was like, it's fluid. When
Oh
I'm
my
doing my
goodness.
period, I can put 5 kilos on in fluid, and that's a period. Like, I'm
Yeah.
growing a baby.
Yeah.
And she was so, like, rude.
Wow.
She would be like, stop eating cake, or, you're eating too I was vegan at the time, and she was like, you're eating too much fruit. It's making you fat. And it was just like a constant thing. But then also telling me my baby's too small and then the baby's too big. And I was just like,
Mhm.
I don't have the energy for this time round, not with a
Yeah.
toddler as well. So I paid to have like a private date and scan just to know how, because we had no idea how far along I was.
Yeah, of
Just,
course.
it was a surprise. So I paid like, I think it's like €50 to go somewhere. They scanned me, said I was like 8 weeks, and then I didn't see anyone else until
Wow. Okay.
I was 34 weeks pregnant.
So how did you navigate that then in terms of your own peace of mind? Because I know for a lot of us, and a lot of women that we'll work with, will want those scans, and you hear them say things like, "Oh, I get to see my baby. It's reassurance."
Yeah.
Yeah, how did you navigate that yourself?
I just felt like I didn't need it. I just felt like I know he's fine, he's moving. I really thought he was a boy as well. So
Mhm.
when they'd done the date and scan at 8 weeks, I said to the sonographer, I was like, I think this is a boy. What do you think? And she was like, well, I can't really tell, but I'm about 80% sure it's going to be a boy. And I was
Wow.
like, okay. And then yeah, then we didn't see anyone, so we moved to Marbella in the September. And I don't think I went to the local clinic until start of November. And then I just
Mhm.
kind of went to be like, hey, I'm pregnant and I'm going to be giving birth at the
I'm
local
here.
hospital. And they were like, where the fuck have you been? Like, why are you only just coming here now? I was like, oh, we only moved here 2 months ago. And they were looking at me like,
Mm,
you're huge. Like, this baby looks like it's about, I was quite big with Hugo, to be fair.
right.
And they were just like, it looks like you're about to give birth now. Like, where are your notes? I was just like, don't have any. And but then I was so glad that I chose this path for my second
Mm,
pregnancy, because straight away it was blood tests.
hmm.
You're too big. How much did you weigh before you got pregnant? You've got gestational diabetes. Your baby's too big. They made me do the gestational diabetes test 3 times, negative every time.
I'm
And
just
then they
desperate to
wanted
get a
me to do
positive.
it again a fourth time. And I was like, that drink is going to give me diabetes
Yeah,
if I do that another time. And I felt so ill every time as well. And it's
yeah.
horrible. It's never cold.
It's awful. I remember getting it, having the test. They were so desperate for me to have gestational diabetes
Yeah.
because I was fucking huge. Like, not
Yeah.
just pregnant, I was just a fat fuck. Yeah. Before I got pregnant, so it's amazing I actually got pregnant. But they were like, you've probably got this. You know, you're quite large. And I was like, well, I feel fine, and
How rude.
well, I
Awful.
don't really feel fine because I've got terrible hyperemesis, but
No.
I don't feel like I've got any sugar problem, blood sugar problems. And they're
Yeah.
like, you're gonna have to come in and do this first thing in the morning. Don't eat anything the night before. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm gonna be sick. And they kept giving me, a little cardboard thing to get sick
Oh
in
God, yeah.
because I just kept getting sick. If I'd sip water, I'd go blah, and they'd give me another one. Then they give me this
Awful.
drink, and obviously I'm sick immediately.
Yeah.
So it's pretty irrelevant doing it. But
Yeah.
I had to do it in two different occasions. Well, I didn't have to. I thought I did. And
Yes.
they were like, really strange. You don't have GD. Like, really strange. Why is it really
Like,
strange?
why is it weird? Yeah.
I don't understand. Is this a trick?
Just because they have like a hunch and then you're having to go through hell
Well,
essentially
they
to
was like,
prove
you're
them
fat,
wrong.
so you
Like,
must have it.
what the hell? I think because my bump was so big with Hugo, they were just so convinced,
Yeah.
and they were so fixated on the fact that they scanned him and they were like, this is like a really big baby for 35 weeks or whatever.
Mm.
And I was like, that's fine. Like, my
But you
mum
didn't even know
had
your
big
dates.
babies. Yeah, exactly. Like my mum had, 9 pound something babies. My sister had a baby that was almost 10 pounds. I was like, it just runs in the family. We're
Mhm.
British. Like Spanish babies are a little bit smaller in general. I
Okay.
think their average birth weight's like 3.3 to 3.5 kilos.
Okay.
So I don't know. I was like, you're not measuring me against the right parameters. Like
Hmm.
I'm not from here.
Hmm.
Like my husband's tall. My brothers are like 6'6".
I
Like
mean, you're gonna have big
I'm a
babies.
small person,
Yeah.
yeah, but it runs in my like genetically. I'm around big people.
Yeah.
But they were so fixated on it. In the end, I was like, I'm not doing it again. Like I'm done with that now. Then they sent me for a growth scan. Um, they did the whole, this baby's not going to come out through your pelvis. You're way too small to birth this baby. This baby is huge. How much did your daughter weigh? I was like 2.8 kilos. They were like, this baby is going to be like at least 4 kilos. that's way bigger. If you want to do this, you're going to have to come really early to the hospital for the epidural, because we're going to have to use forceps to help you get this baby out, or you're going to have to book a C-section.
What?
And I remember just sitting there, just smiling and nodding at the woman, and she was just like, "You're not going to do any of that, are you?" I was like,
That's just shocking.
"Yeah." I was like, "No way. That's just not. That's
That's
not
so
about."
unfair. And the thing is, there are so many women that do have this kind of experience, and then they go on to have a wild pregnancy, and they are so judged.
Yeah,
And there's so many comments made if they do tell people they're doing it, and as soon as they go into hospital to have a baby, or they do engage with the system at some point, whether that's to have a scan later on or whatever, they're judged. And then
yeah,
they have social services referrals, or the threat of social services referrals. It's like, hold on a second, why do you think they're making these choices? Because
exactly.
they've either had that a bad experience before, where they were constantly asked for tests, pushed for tests, and fed a load of bullshit, or they know someone that has and they just don't want to do that. Obviously, you'll get a certain amount of women that say, do you know what, I haven't had any experience, I haven't heard any horror stories, and I'm just choosing to have a pregnancy without
Yeah,
being involved with anyone else, because that's my right to do so, and I trust birth. I trust
yeah,
babies will be born, and that's fine. But
yeah.
yeah, a lot of it is based on an experience such as you're describing now.
Yeah, exactly. Like I would never ever hold it against anyone that was just like, I don't want to engage with this medical system
Not at all.
at all. And
No.
it was really interesting for me because obviously being from the UK, I hear a lot of this from friends and family and things. And then being in Spain and, I'm communicating in a second language, so that's got its own barriers. But just to hear the same thing come out of their mouths as you would hear here, or I guess anywhere in the Western world, right, where we
Yeah.
don't trust bodies anymore.
Yeah.
I was just so shocked, and it was quite different to my experience in Ibiza, where I'd had that really, nice mid husband. He called himself. He's like, I'm your mid husband. I was like, that's cute. I'll
Will
take
you be
that.
my actual husband, please?
I'll take that. Maybe I'm in the market for a new husband.
You don't work out. That's why you see naked.
So I don't know, like in Marbella, the care was wildly different. All
Okay.
the midwife appointments were at the hospital where I was going to give birth, and it was all
Mhm.
slightly older women who were very like strict and stern and like, we know how to give birth and you don't have a clue.
But
And that was kind
it's
of the,
basically just obstetric.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
like classic. And I think because I'd had that nice experience first time round
Mm.
with my mid husband, I just wasn't really expecting it. I was quite like taken aback. And I think in like Andalusia, like the culture there is very like, people are very direct. They don't really bother with like with like pleasantries, and that in itself took me aback a little bit because it's quite different in Ibiza. Like,
Mm.
the people, the way they talk is like totally different. So I was really like shocked, and remember I left one of the appointments, I just burst out crying, and I was just like, I want to go back to Ibiza to birth this baby. I don't want to
Yeah,
have him here.
I'm not
I
surprised.
was quite scared of going to the hospital, like until I knew that the baby was going to come, because I was
Hmm.
like, they're going to meddle with me. I can tell that they are.
Hmm.
I can really see it in their eyes that they're just going to do what they want to do. And I also had that thing of like, how big is this baby going to be?
Well, yeah, they put the idea in your head that your
Yeah.
baby's going to be a giant.
Yeah, exactly. So I just had to focus a lot on like just trust,
Yeah.
right? Just trust in myself, really listening to everything that I knew to be true about birth, about hormones, about how the baby navigates the pelvis, about how unlikely it is to grow a baby that's too big for your body to birth. Like, come
Mhm.
on, it's just not a thing, right? It's very,
Yeah.
very
I
rare
mean,
to grow a true
if
matrimonial baby.
if I ever talk on social media about exactly what you just said, it's very rare that you'll grow a baby that won't fit through your body, or won't be able to come out. There will always be someone that will take it upon themselves to comment or send me a DM saying, you're talking rubbish, you're scaremongering, you are not a trained professional. I am a trained professional, I'm just not a trained midwife. But
Exactly.
I never understand why they say that. But it, our bodies are designed so perfectly. Yes, we are not necessarily the healthiest and in the best shape that we could be because of the
Yeah,
lifestyles we live now. We slouch on the sofa, we sit at desks all day long. We're not doing 24/7 housework like the women back in the old days.
yeah,
You know, we stick a robot vacuum cleaning on and things like that. It's different, I know. So our bodies are going to be
yeah.
different.
Adapted, yeah.
Yeah, but we can still birth babies, and I will always have someone say, "Well, I know someone, or my baby couldn't be born, and it had to be a cesarean, or it had to be forceps." And I always say to them, "Okay, if I dare you, basically, if you're brave enough, let's talk about your story. Let's talk about the labour.
Yeah.
Were you induced? Were you on your back? Did you have synthetic oxytocin? Did you have an epidural? Let's talk about all of that first before we get to the bit where
Absolutely.
your baby was stuck."
Yeah,
It's not
yeah,
your pelvis. It's never. It's very rarely your pelvis, unless you've got some severe, like you've had an accident or something, and
yeah.
your pelvis is set in a way that it's no longer flexible.
Not movable, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
So it really did take, I think, a bit more second time round for me to trust in myself. And also when you have a toddler, you do think
mm,
about them as well. And they're saying to me, like, you can't get this baby out. And, I'm thinking, well, what's going to happen to me in that situation? Like,
mm,
how am I going to look after my daughter if I'm like, cut open, or if they have to give me forceps, or, all of these things. And then I've also got a 2-year old at home to look after.
mm,
But I just managed to bring it back, as I said, to like knowledge and trust, and just, I've grown this baby, like, this is going to be fine.
mm.
And it was fine.
Sounds like you're very in tune with your body.
Yeah, I try to be.
You listen to it. It tells you things, and you listen. I
Yeah,
wish every woman was like that, including myself.
I just wish more women had the time to do that and focus on, connecting with their body and their baby,
Mm,
and had the knowledge. Like, had I not had all of that knowledge, of course I would have accepted some kind of induction or a
mm,
C-section, because I would have been scared. And
yeah.
likely I wouldn't have had the birth that I had. And second time round, baby came much quicker.
Right.
I
Okay.
will say. I was told there's no birth pool at the hospital, at all. It's
Okay.
not a thing. It's very like obstetric led, on the
Mm.
bed, feet up vibes.
Oh.
And so I was just like, no, no, I'm not getting there until this baby is like coming out
Mm,
of me, so that they can't meddle with it.
mhm.
So went into labour. It was King's Day in Spain, which is their Christmas. So it was the King's Parade where they throw sweets at the children. We were at the parade with my daughter, and she was like catching all the sweets, and I was like, ooh. And then I was like, ooh.
Ah.
So I went home with her. We had a dance party because I wanted to get that oxytocin up. And I was really emotional because I was just thinking, like, this is our last little time, like,
Mm,
just me and you, and then there's going to be a baby. Your life's going to change beyond recognition, and you don't
yeah.
even realize it. She's like, yay, baby brother. And I'm like, it's going to change for you.
Yeah, big time. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I put her to bed. So that I was in early labour at this point. Put her to bed, and when she fell asleep, I lay next to her and had a little cry. I think I just needed to like let those emotions out. And then I
Yeah.
like kissed her on the head and left the room. And then I went to bed for a little bit. My husband went to sleep, and I just wanted to be on my own. So I got up, went into the front room. It was January, so it was quite cold. So I put the fire on. My cat came with me. He's actually lying here on the bed next to me. It's fine. He's always around me. And me and the cat just laboured all for like 6 hours. And
Wow.
then I hit transition, threw up all over the sofa, and I thought, I better wake my husband up.
Oh, you left him sleeping the whole time. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I woke him up, and he went to get the babysitter.
Mm.
So by the time he got back with the babysitter, I'll never forget her face. I was leaning over the sofa, and I was like, ah. I opened my eyes, and like, God love Libby, she's the sweetest girl in the world. She's never had a baby, never seen anyone in labour. She was just like, are you okay? She's also from Liverpool, by the
Oh,
way.
no way.
Yeah, we met in Marbella. She became my daughter's babysitter. She was
Oh,
from the same little tiny place in Liverpool that I'm from. It was so random.
oh my
She was
goodness.
like,
It's meant
"Are
to
you
be.
okay? Are you okay?" I was like, yeah, I'm fine. You just go to bed. She was so relieved. She was like, okay, thank God. She just scarfed out the room. But then we went to the hospital. Well, the lift was broke. We lived on the fourth floor. So I had to go down 4 flights of stairs to
Mhm.
get to the car. Got to the car. My body was pushing. I was saying to her husband, the baby's going to be born in the car.
Oh my God.
Like, no. He was like, the baby can't come in the car. Like, I'm not okay with that. He was driving as fast as he could along the motorway. We got to the hospital. He chucked me out at the front while he went to find parking. I was saying to the person on reception in Spanish, like, the baby's coming now, and they were just like, yeah, okay, what's your NIE
Mm.
number? I was like, no, the baby's coming like right now. And they were
Mm.
just like, oh, whatever. And then they sent a midwife out to me. She was like, okay, we're just going to monitor your surges with the CTG thing. I was like, the baby is coming now, right now. No one thought to look. No one thought, like, I'm going to
Just
check.
not believing you at all.
Didn't believe me. She was just like, no, you're too calm. I was like, right, no. And then my waters just went, poof. And then someone thought, well, let's actually have a look. And he
Mm.
was crowning.
Oh wow. Oh my God.
I was like, I told you. So I waddled down the hall, got up on the bed on all fours, and he was born within 7 minutes of arriving at the hospital.
Oh my goodness. Oh, I've
And
just got goosebumps. That's so funny.
they
Like,
still tried. They still tried to meddle with that, by the way. So as I was like, my body was pushing him out at this point. I had no control over it whatsoever.
mm,
They were stood behind me with scissors,
no.
talking about whether to give me an episiotomy to help him come through easier because they'd seen on my notes that he was big.
But even though they can see he's coming.
Yeah. So I turned around, looked over my shoulder, and was like, "Don't touch me! Don't you dare touch me!" And he was
I
born.
didn't kick them like a horse.
I know I should have done. He was born. Guess what? No tears, not even a stitch, no grazing. They
Well,
said to me I needed to have one stitch. It was like a cosmetic stitch, and they
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
just put it in without me noticing. And
Wow.
afterwards, I was like, "Why have I got a stitch?
Yeah, yeah.
Like that was unnecessary."
Can ask for that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I've got to know, how big was this giant?
he was 9 pounds, so
Oh,
not just like a
beautiful.
normal baby. Yeah,
Guys, oh, it drives me mad when people say, oh, I had a massive baby. And they're like, my height, 5'9".
yeah,
Well, how big was your baby? £9.
yeah.
I'm like, is that a big
Is
baby for
it a
you?
baby?
I don't
I
know.
mean, I'm like 5'3". I am quite petite,
Mm,
but still, it just in that moment he didn't. He was probably born easier than my daughter was, and
mm,
she was 2.8 kilos. He was just over 4 kilos. And when it got to that pushing stage, he just came on his own.
mm.
There was no like, no drama. And as he came out, I just picked him up, turned around, lay down, and was like, okay, well, that's done.
Can I have a taste now?
Yeah. Oh, you don't get toast in Spain.
Oh, do you not? Please tell me
No.
it's tapas.
No, do you know what? After my daughter, they put chorizo stew in my room, and I was vegan. And I
Oh,
was like, "Do you have
no.
anything veggie?" I was like, "I'll eat cheese. Like, can I have anything just veggie?" Because I knew they wouldn't have anything vegan. And they brought me up a dry bread roll, and I was like, "Oh, thanks."
Well, it's
My
vegan.
husband, yeah, my husband had the chorizo stew, and then
But how wonderful to bring you a stew. Oh my God, that's great.
yeah,
If you're
yeah,
not a
no,
vegan, that's
yeah,
really good.
exactly. And then by the time Hugo was born, I was eating meat again. At this point, I'd started eating meat when I was pregnant with him
Okay.
because I just had really bad morning sickness. I was really craving. We had a steak restaurant near where we lived, and every time I smelt it, I was like, "Oh God, my mouth's watering." I hadn't eaten meat for like 10 years, and I just started eating steaks, and the morning sickness went.
Well, it sounds to me like your body was calling out for that.
Yeah,
It's telling
yeah,
you, please give us this iron, this richness.
yeah. So when he was born like 5 a.m. in the morning, so they brought me breakfast at like 7.
Okay.
But yeah, there's no like instant tea and toast like there
Yeah.
is in the UK.
What let down. So how was your postnatal period, your healing, your mental health? How did it go this time round?
Mental health wise was way better. I
Okay.
felt so much better.
Good.
Healing, like it was a doddle, honestly. Like, I think because of the way he'd been born and there was no like major trauma down there. I mean, obviously I was a bit sore for a couple of days, but I was just up and on my feet with my toddler
Mm-hmm.
as normal, trying to like, lie around and just bond with the baby and have her in the bed with us and things like that. But it was easy, easy, I would say.
Good.
I
Fantastic.
sometimes I feel quite guilty saying like how easily I birthed my children, but I
Mm.
don't share this to be like I know how to give birth and this is the way everyone should give birth, but more because I think people need to have knowledge around it and
Mm-hmm.
have all the tools that they can have at their disposal, like hypnobirth
Yeah.
and like biomechanics. Like I cannot speak for biomechanics enough. Like I did spinning babies through both of my pregnancies
Mm-hmm.
because we are lounging around a lot these days
Yeah.
and we do need to correct that in some way
Yeah. Yeah.
to make sure
Absolutely.
the baby's got room to come through the pelvis and
Yeah.
make
And I
itself.
I've had a lot of people say people I've supported and they've had good births, or people that I've come across like with birth debriefs and stuff. And quite often the ones that have had really good births are saying they don't tell a lot of people, because if they go back to their baby groups where out of 12 women 11 have had C-sections,
Yeah,
10 or 11, and they're the only one that free birthed or had a good hospital birth, whatever, might have had a couple of stitches or none, healing well, feeling good, baby latched, baby fed. They don't want to tell their story, and I encourage them. This is why I do this. This is why I
yeah,
want to start doing this, because people need to see that there are really fucking shit stories. Yeah. And we know about the trauma. We hear about it. We talk about it. Doulas talk about it on social media. It's in the press. We get it. But the good stories are not out there enough. People need to understand how you can have a good birth. And when I say good, my idea of a good birth is not the same idea as you.
yeah,
So for me, if I was having a baby now, my idea of a good birth would be to labour in my bed with no one here, not a single soul in the room with me, not a doula, not no one.
yeah,
My idea of a good birth. For somebody else, it's having a baby in the birth centre. For somebody else, it's having a C-section, but having all their wishes listened to. And all of the stories need to be shared, because how you get to that good birth is the key.
yeah.
That's the bit that people don't know and they need to
All of
know.
the little steps before that add towards it. And
Yeah,
we
yeah.
have lost that sense of like we don't talk about birth, we don't see birth anymore. Like
Hmm.
when my nan was giving birth, my nan had loads of kids. She had like 8 kids, but she'd seen loads of other people also give birth.
Hmm.
Now we go into it and we haven't been at a birth with someone before. We haven't witnessed it unfold in a natural way, or if we have been at a birth, it's probably been a relative's birth and you've seen them have an episiotomy or have something done to them
Yeah.
that was traumatic in some way.
Hmm.
So we're not seeing physiological birth and how it should unfold, and
Yeah.
it's shit really, like that we've lost that.
My daughter, who's 27 now, when she was 19, she was my birth partner for Sophia.
Oh, yeah.
My partner wasn't in the country, and she was hella traumatized
Oh, really?
because she witnessed the complete opposite of a good birth, the worst kind of birth you could possibly have.
Yeah.
Luckily, I didn't die. That was the outcome. Didn't die, but everything else happened. So she was really traumatized. So when it came to her having a baby, she was like, "Fuck that! Having a baby at home, and I don't want a midwife near me."
Yeah. Good
Whereas
for
my
her.
yeah, yeah, fantastic. She's incredibly strong and powerful. My other daughter, who's 8, hasn't seen birth, but she's only seen free births that are
Wow.
beautiful. And do you know what she says? When I'm older, I want to be a doula, but I'm going to have my babies in hospital.
Oh,
And I'm like,
okay.
right, okay. And I said, why? She goes,
Yeah.
I don't know. Just want to have my babies in hospital.
Yeah.
That's absolutely fantastic. You do what you want to do. You're only 8. I'll work on you yet. Got time.
Yeah. Get around.
If you want to have a hospital birth, I'm not coming.
Yeah, I know. I won't be there.
But I think I was talking to someone, was it yesterday on my live with Caroline, someone this week, talking about how this kind of knowledge you breathe in, the biomechanics, mechanics, the hormones, should be taught in schools. And I think it's something that not necessarily just school, because I homeschool, so that you know blows
That's
out the water, but
yeah.
teaching our children,
Yeah.
teaching our sons, our daughters about the female body,
Yeah.
about
100%.
the cycle, the monthly cycles, about the bleed, about getting pregnant, how you get pregnant, what happens in your labour,
Yeah.
postnatal. This should be stuff that we've known, that we've grown knowing. The amount of women I know that say, "Oh my God, I'd love to see a birth. Can you take me along to one?
Yeah.
No.
No.
But can't do that. But they're like, I really want to see one. Even though
Yeah.
they've had their own births, they really want to see one. It's almost like they feel it's in them. They just need to
Yeah.
see this thing like all women should see.
Yeah.
They just want to witness this perfect birth.
I just wish that we could just strip it back almost and just take it back to basics and it
Mm,
be the normal for people to birth at home and only birth in the hospital if they need to be in the hospital.
yeah.
Like, you feel safest at home for sure. I mean, even though I had hospital births, I laboured at home right up until I couldn't labour at home anymore. Probably had I been in the UK, I would have tried for home births if it was an option that was available, but it just wasn't available to us there. But there are ways to have good hospital births, and I would say that avoid the hospital as long as
Yeah.
you can.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've been at amazing hospital births.
Yeah,
I've been at equal amount of really shit and really wonderful, empowering, beautiful births
yeah,
in hospitals and birth centres. But that's because those women and their partners had put the work in before. And
yeah,
when we talk about the work, I mean not physical work, this work and this work. They go inside, they go into themselves, they understand that they have intuition. They need to listen to it, they need to feel it, let it do its thing, and not just be in their head all the time, but go in, and they end up having much better
yeah.
birthing experiences and outcomes. So I do have a bonus question. I say I had one question, but another. If you were to get on the bus tomorrow and a young woman sat next to you and said, I'm pregnant, I'm 16 weeks pregnant, and I've got no fucking clue, what's one piece of advice, one, that you would give her?
Ooh, just one.
Oh, it's so hard because there's so much.
I know there's so much. I would tell her to find a good hypnobirth course, right? Because if you find a good one, it has all of the antenatal education in it that you could possibly need, and also the techniques to stay calm, grounded, present, listen to your baby, listen to your body. That a course like that, like an independent course, find someone who's passionate about it, that is going to know physiology really, really well and explain it well, but also make sure it's someone that you like because
Mm,
you're not going to listen otherwise,
yeah,
right? It's like you can be a good doula, but not everyone's going to like you,
absolutely.
and that's just life. Like, you just
Yeah,
get on with it. But if you find something that you really resonate with, like a hypnobirth teacher that you is engaging, you're gonna listen and you're gonna really absorb all of that information
yeah.
and just teach yourself to trust in your body.
Well, I can tell you right now, I wish I'd met you when I was 18 sitting on the bus. A lost woman who had no idea what was going to happen. I'd never been told anything about birth. Apart from, I do remember my nan saying, was it my nan? I think. I remember her saying something about don't lay on your back.
Yeah,
Because it might be my mum, because you can't push a baby uphill. And never forget that. And then using the analogy, like if you were to sit on a toilet, you can poo, but if you were to lay on your back with your legs in the air, you wouldn't be able to.
yeah.
So that's probably the only piece of pregnancy and labour advice I was ever given that made any sense. Um, I just want to thank you for your stories because they're yours, they're personal, and I am really grateful, really honoured that you've come on here and shared it with me and with everyone else that's watched and will watch back. Tell people where they can find you, how they can get your support in whether it's hypnobirthing, birth support, postnatal, whatever. Let them know where you are so they can get in contact.
Okay, fab. So I am on Instagram at Birth Doula Bex. I'm based in Surrey, so I currently support Surrey and South London for doula services. And I hold in-person hypnobirth and antenatal classes in Farnham in Surrey. And the next one
Oh,
is 28th of Feb.
oh, amazing.
Yeah, yeah. So I do it's like a full day course, like a 5 hour thing, and then you get MP3s and ongoing WhatsApp support from me if you do
Ah,
the hypno
okay.
course. Yeah.
Okay. I'll share this, and when I share it, it will share it as a bloody 1 hour reel. And I'll put all your website, everything in there so people can go
Amazing.
back and find it. But I didn't realise you were in South London. I'm always down there. I'm down there tomorrow.
Are
So
you?
I'm gonna come see you one day and we can have a
Yeah.
good old chinwag about birthy shit.
Oh, I would love that. We get a nice cup of tea.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I will not come to your house and eat out of that bowl though. I'm
No,
going to
you
keep that in
sure?
my mind.
I can't entice you with the salad bowl.
Like, no.
Never.
And if you're like popcorn, I'm like, no, is it in a bag or box?
Cancel. I know, and I've told everyone this now. Everyone knows.
Yeah, I'm always going to come around. Bex, thank you so
Absolutely.
much. I
Oh,
adore you.
thank
I
you
think
for
what you're
having
doing,
me.
I think what you're doing for families is fantastic. You're doing a lot, and anyone that works with you will be just so lucky to work with you
Thank you
and have
so
you by
much.
their side. Have a lovely evening. Thank you so much,
Thank you,
and
love.
take care. See you.
Bye.
Thanks everyone for watching. Bye bye.